What's up, friends? Welcome back to my channel. I hope you all are doing well. I am super excited for today's video because Mother Pat McGrath has blessed us with more divine blushes. These are her new Divine Blush Duos. I have all of the shades. We're gonna be doing swatches, applications of every single shade, lots of comparisons. So if you guys are interested in hearing all of my thoughts, then buckle up because we're about to get into it. And if this is your first time here, maybe you found me in the YouTube search or the Google search, welcome, welcome. My name is Sophia and this is my channel where we talk about all things beauty and luxury. I upload content every single week on all the newest luxury beauty releases. So if you want to join the fam because we have so much fun on this channel, then click that subscribe button and the notification bell to hear about every time I upload a new video. If you like this style of video, don't forget to give me a big thumbs up. I essentially just applied what is 12 blushes to my cheeks, so give me a thumbs up for that. I will link all of these products in the description box down below. Do know that most of my links are affiliate links, so when you shop through those links, it's a really great way to support my channel. It doesn't cost you anything extra, but if you don't want to shop through them, that's okay too. Give me a thumbs up, leave me a comment down below. Those are all great ways to show your support. Okie doke, friends, let's talk about these new blushes from Pat McGrath. Once again, these are called the Divine Blush Duos. These are the latest addition to her Divine Blush collection. I do have all of the shades of her regular blush line, so we will be doing some comparisons in just a second. But what we're getting here is essentially the same pan size, the same embossing, except we're getting two blushes in one. These retail for $44. They come in 6 shades, and apparently these are limited edition. I don't know how long they're gonna stick around. Sometimes brands, even Pat McGrath, they launch limited edition things and they stick around for quite a while. So I can't really comment on how long these are going to be for sale, but technically they are limited edition. Like I said, this is the same pan size, the same amount of product that you're getting as her original blushes, and these are also made in Italy. I purchased all of these blushes with my own money on the Pat McGrath website. It does also look like they are going to be available at Sephora. However, there is one color that is not available at Sephora, which I think was Venusian Sunrise. So for whatever reason, Sephora doesn't have that one. Maybe it will be coming soon, but for me, I purchased these as soon as they went live from the Pat McGrath website. And on the Pat McGrath website, it says, blush like an icon in a dreamily draped dimension color with limited edition Divine Blush Duos. Each powerhouse pair unites a couture coupling of sublime shades and a featherlight, long-wearing, demi-matte or satin pearl finishes. Swirl them together to release harmoniously blended high-definition radiance to sculpt and blend petal-soft layers of painterly gradation. So in summary, these are supposed to have a petal-soft touch. They are featherlight, they are buildable and blendable, mistake-proof application, it says, vivid color purity. There are demi-matte and satin pearl finishes. Those are kind of the two finishes that you're gonna see throughout the blushes. Not every blush has one matte and one pearl satin. You guys are gonna see in the swatches, but those are the two formulas that we're working with. It says all day wear and soft focus effect. So Mother Pat is promising us a lot with these blushes. Now we're gonna get into the swatches and you guys are gonna see for yourself what these look like both on my hand and also on my face. As I go through each blush, I'm also then going to be showing you guys some quick comparisons with the other blushes in the OG Divine Blush collection line. As I mentioned, I have all of the shades from those. So if you guys are wondering how those compare with the other blushes in her collection, we will take a look at that as well. Let's start off with Venusian Sunrise. This is the one that I did not see at Sephora, at least at the time of me planning this video. So I do want to call that out. And for that reason, I don't have an official description of this, but I am describing this as a soft lavender and rose. When you guys see the swatches on my hand, I'm first going to be swatching the little halo, then I will be swatching the roses, then I swirled the colors together and I did a final third swatch. So just to let you know, that's what you're going to be seeing when you see the swatches on my hand. This is a really pretty and soft shade. It goes really well for people like me who have a very fair skin tone. I like that she incorporated a lavender shade. That's very different from the other blushes that she has in her line or any other releases that I've seen from Mother Pat. The lavender also has a little bit of a pearly effect. None of these are glittery. They just have a really nice soft sheen to them. So I do want to call that out. Not glittery at all. I think this is going to be perfect for those of you who like really soft, romantic, pinky, slightly lavender leaning kind of blushes. Now for the comparisons for Venusian Sunrise, you guys will see I compared Venusian Sunrise up against Love Struck and also Cherish. I just want to call out here that the blushes in her permanent collection, they're definitely a lot brighter. This is a very soft blush. If you guys are into a very soft and ethereal tone, I think you would like this one, Venusian Sunrise. I also compared this up against Nymphette. Nymphette has a very distinct sheen to it. It has kind of like that golden pearliness. It's a lot shimmerier and glowier than any of the blushes that are in this collection. Next up, we have Aphrodite Amour, and this is described as a pink Coral Demi Matte, and also a Pale Pink Peach with Pearl. This is for my pink lovers out there. This has such a beautiful tone to the cheeks. If you like something that is just a very classic pink, very romantic, I think you're gonna like Aphrodite Amour. I like that the lighter rose color, it has a little bit of that pearl finish to it, and then with the halo shade, it's got just a touch of coral. So it is different than the other pink shades in this collection. This is a really great go-to blush, especially if you don't already have a lot of blushes from Pat McGrath, because it's just a really good standard pink shade. I like the way that both of these blend together. I like the subtle glow that it gives the skin. And for the comparisons, I chose to compare Aphrodite Amour to Flirtatious, Divine Rose, Cherish, and Nymphette. You will notice that the halo shade for Aphrodite Amour, it definitely pulls more coral than all of these shades. The flower shade is almost like a mix of Nymphette and Divine Rose. There are a lot of pink shades in Pat's collection, so I will let the swatches speak for themselves. You guys can decide if these are different enough for them to be worth it for you. There's some slight similarities here, but I do think that this one, Aphrodite Amour, pulls just a little bit more coral. If you are already a fan of Nymphette and Divine Rose, maybe you have those in your collection, then you're probably gonna like this one too. Next up, we have more pink. This shade is called Divine Rose 2, and it is described as a soft coral peach demi matte and a pale pink peach with pearl. I'll be honest with you guys, I don't think that that description is super great. I don't think that this color looks peachy at all. Like, neither of these look particularly peachy to me. This looks very solidly rose in tone. The flower shade is brighter. It's kind of like that true poppy kind of rose. And then the halo shade is kind of more of like a muted rose, but I would not say that these are peachy at all. This one is gonna be more pigmented than Aphrodite Amour. I don't think you need both of those. If you have a darker or more tanner complexion, I think I would go for this one, Divine Rose 2. If you are paler like me, I would steer you more in the direction of Aphrodite Amour. And then with the comparisons of Divine Rose 2, I chose to compare it against Love Struck, Cherish, and Nymphette. You guys will see here, like, Cherish is pretty similar. They're not the same, but guys, it's pink blush. It's like same, but different. I feel like Divine Rose 2 is probably one of the most dupable shades in this collection. It's probably the one that I would skip first if you guys are trying to narrow it down. I will also show you the comparison of Divine Rose 2 up against Divine Rose, which is in the OG Divine Blush collection, and you guys will see here they aren't too similar. Divine Rose 2, it's brighter, it's a little bit more vibrant, whereas the regular Divine Rose, it's a little bit more muted, a little more cool tone, almost like the Mothership palettes, right? Like Divine Rose 1, that one was more of like your standard rose, slightly cool tone, neutral kind of palette. And then when Pat McGrath came out with Divine Rose 2, it was like, whoa, a little bit more color, a little bit more punch, probably better if you have a darker skin tone, if you're a little bit tanner in color. I would say it is the same for the blushes. You guys know I'm excited for this one. This one is called Cosmic Coral, and it is described as a pale sienna demi matte and a fresh orange demi matte. So both of these are supposed to be in that matte formula. This is not going to be as glowy as the other ones we just discussed, because all of those have that kind of pearl aspect. So if you guys are somebody that you don't like your blush to be too glowy, you might be interested in Cosmic Coral. This is actually the blush that I'm wearing on my cheeks today. I love corally shades. It's got this really nice nudie tone as the halo, which I like to kind of just put all over the cheeks. And then I like to go in with the brighter corally shades just kind of like in the center of the cheeks. It kind of reminds me of those Charlotte Tilbury, the blushes, you know, the ones that like kind of look like a nipple. It reminds me of those where it's like you kind of use the outside shade all over the cheek and then you create a little bit of pop with the brighter shade in the middle. I think you guys know which blushes I'm talking about. That's kind of what this reminds me of. I love coral shades. This is really beautiful. I think this is going to be a really natural summertime blush. This is probably one of my favorites from the collection. And for the comparisons for Cosmic Coral, I decided to compare this up against Desert Orchid Avi, one of my all-time favorite blushes in my entire makeup collection. We also have Paradise Venus, another one of my all-time favorite blushes in my collection. And then lastly, Cherish. You will notice that Cosmic Coral, it just swatches a lot softer. It has less shimmer, obviously, because these are both demi mattes. So this doesn't really match up super well with the other ones in the OG collection. I don't think that this one is dupable. As I mentioned before, I think this is a really good option if maybe Desert Orchid and some of the other shades in the regular line are just a little bit too glowy for you. you. This is gonna be more of a demi matte. I love the natural kind of tan summertime look that it gives me. I also wanna show you guys what Cosmic Coral looks like up against Electric Bloom, because I think Electric Bloom is the one that we think of as being very overtly coral and bright in the regular line. You guys will notice Electric Bloom, it's so much brighter. It really isn't similar at all. In fact, Electric Bloom is probably one of the most unique shades across all of the blushes in both the original line and the new collection. Next up, we have Paradise Glow. Oh, you guys know I'm excited about this one because I love brown and terracotta blushes. This is described as a bronze rose with pearl and also a terracotta demi matte. Obviously, you guys know I like this one. I'm really into brown blushes. I like, once again, that she has this pearly nude that can kind of create a nice, beautiful, glowy base on the cheeks, and then I can go in with the terracotta demi matte and just deepen it up a little bit so it looks more natural. These blushes are very pigmented. You guys will probably see in some of the clips that I applied way too much right from the start. So as I've gotten into these darker shades, I have been using a fluffier brush, just kind of blending them out a little bit. The first two shades that I covered, Venusian Sunrise and Aphrodite Amour, those were very easy and effortless to apply because they are so pale. But as I'm getting into kind of these darker tones, I do have to be a little bit more careful about not applying too much blush and kind of using a fluffier brush. So I do want to mention that these are super pigmented. I am very pale, but I think that these are still going to show up really good on a darker skin tone. In terms of comparisons, I had to compare Paradise Glow up against Desert Orchid and Paradise Venus, of course. Did Mother literally just combine two of my favorite blushes of all time into one compact? Because that definitely is what it looks like. These shades are pretty similar to the ones in her regular collection. When I swatch them out for you guys, you will notice that Paradise Glow, it swatches a lot softer. I would say that Desert Orchid, it has a very strong pearl. It's a lot shimmery and more glowy, like it just packs more of a punch. Paradise Venus is also a little bit darker. This is almost like the softer combo of the two, if that makes sense. So it's not the same, but it is really similar. If you were eyeing those two shades, this would be great because you kind of get like a 2-in-1. Or if you're like me and those are two of your favorite shades, you are pretty much destined to enjoy Paradise Glow. Feast your eyes on Night Bloom. This is so gorgeous. Like, this is just so pleasing to look at. This is the darkest shade in the collection, and this is described as a violet merlot demi matte and a blue red demi matte. So just like Cosmic Coral, Night Bloom does not have any pearly shades in it. I do want to warn you guys, this is extremely pigmented. It looks pigmented and she is pigmented. This is going to be an absolute dream for those of you who have darker skin tones. If you are pale like me, what I actually would recommend is taking the color, swatching it on your hand, and then picking the color up from there, because this is just so pigmented. I think that you need to go in with a very light hand. I probably applied a little bit too much in the demo application because I'm still kind of figuring out how pigmented these are and the best way to use them. If you have darker skin, I think you can go in with this just like a regular blush. If you are pale like me, I think the way that I personally would wear this is kind of like an all over sort of monochrome kind of shade. If I were to apply this, I wouldn't just put it on my cheeks like I did in the demo. I probably would blend it up into the temples, and I probably would also put the purple shade on my eyes to kind of give an overall look. That's just me. I think that this is gonna work better for those of you who have more tanner and darker skin tones. I can make it work. I'm not mad about it, but I do want to warn you guys, like, she is pigmented. When it came to comparing Night Bloom, there really is no comparison, guys. This is so vibrant and unique within the Pat McGrath collection. I did want to show you guys, though, just the brightest and most pigmented colors that she has in her permanent collection, and that would be Love Struck and Electric Bloom. They're really not that similar. You'll notice that Love Struck is a little bit similar to the purple shade that is in Night Bloom, but once again, Night Bloom, such a unique shade, there really is no comparison. All right, friends, now it's time for my final thoughts. Given all of the swatches, the application, the comparisons that I did, what do I think of these new blush duos from Pat McGrath? Okay, first off, I like the fact that you get 2-in-1. Not only is it beautiful to look at, but I think that you get a little bit more value for money. These are $44, so they are very expensive. It is a luxury price point. I just like having the options. I like having the option of doing one or the other, swirling them together, putting one on all over the cheek, and then kind of creating a little bit more of like a pop of color with the brighter shade. So I really do like that. I think this was a brilliant idea. I think that it is very aesthetically pleasing to look at, which means it's gonna do great on social media. Overall, I think it was a really great business decision from Mother Pat. Now, what I wanna say about the formula specifically is that the trend that I'm seeing with these blushes is that they definitely swatch lighter and softer than the blushes in her original collection. When I was doing the swatches with these last night, I was kind of like, are these gonna be dusty on the cheeks? Are these gonna be not as good? I was curious as to why she made these. I don't even want to say not as pigmented, but they just swatch softer. Like they're a little bit more powdery than the ones in her regular line. That being said, when I applied these to the cheeks, I didn't find that they had any lack of pigment. I think they're very pigmented. If anything, I think that you guys need to use a light hand. Like these are gonna last you a really, really long time. I mentioned this earlier in the video, but the first two shades, the lightest ones, Venusian Sunrise and Aphrodite Amour, those ones I can kind of go in like pretty effortlessly and I don't have to worry about them being too pigmented on my skin. But you guys probably saw me laughing in a couple of the demo clips because I just went in like way too hard right from the start with some of these colors, thinking that they were going to be a little bit softer just based off the swatches. That's why I was going in with so much pigment, because I thought that these were going to be a lot softer. So I want to call that out, guys. They don't swatch super well, but when you put them on the face, I feel like they're easy to blend out. I feel like they have enough pigment. I think they're going to work for a lot of people. I don't think it is the exact same formula, but I do think that the quality is there. These are really lovely blushes. Now, before you run out and buy all the shades like me, let's talk a little bit about the shades and whether or not you need these. First off, I would have liked to see a little bit more differentiation in some of the shades. We just have so many pinks. Like, do we need more pink blushes from Mother? No, we don't. If you already have a lot of pinks in your collection, especially ones from Pat McGrath, then don't buy any of the pink ones that are in this collection. Like, there definitely are some shades that are pretty similar. You guys would have seen like Aphrodite Amour and Divine Rose 2. There's other shades that are similar in the regular line. In addition, Paradise Glow, it's really similar to Paradise Venus and Desert Orchid. If you already have those shades, you don't necessarily need them. I kind of would have liked to see a little bit more differentiation between shades. We don't need all of these pink blushes. These are $44, guys. They're very expensive. I think my general thought about these blushes is that if you see a shade that makes your heart sing, if you see a color that you just don't have in your collection, if you haven't purchased anything from Mother Pat, then I think that these are a good buy. But I don't think that you need to get like tons of shades. Honestly, I think that these will probably stick around until her next sale. I hate to say that, but Pat has been having so many sales, and a lot of these limited edition things, they don't really sell out. Look at the Bridgerton collection. It sold out in the beginning, but then she restocked, and then the second collection, like the products were around forever. I think that they are still around. So don't run and get these. You don't absolutely need a lot of them. I think that they're beautiful, but we don't need to go cray cray over these blushes. Look at the ones that you have in your collection. Look at the comparison swatches that I did for you guys and figure out which ones make the most sense for you to pick up. If you want my opinion on which of the shades in this limited edition collection are the most unique, I would say the most unique are Venusian Sunrise and Night Bloom. And specifically because both of these have these purple tones. I would almost say like Venusian Sunrise, this is the one you should get if you have paler skin tone. And then Night Bloom, this is the one that you should get if you have a richer skin tone. I just think that these, I don't know, for me, these are pretty unique within my collection. I probably have some Suku blushes that I could dupe with this one, but if we're talking about the realm of Pat McGrath, these are definitely the most unique ones within this limited edition duo collection. In terms of the most unique shades in her OG collection, I would definitely say Electric Bloom. It's like one of the most unique shades across the entire, like both the limited edition and both the OG. I really couldn't compare anything to it. I also think Flirtatious from the original collection is pretty unique. It's not only a nude, but it's kind of like a cool toned nude. And I really don't see that across any of the other blushes in either of these lines. So those are the 4 blushes across both collections that I think are the most unique. Now you might be wondering, what are my favorite ones from this limited edition collection? I would have to say probably the one that I'm wearing right now, Cosmic Coral. I know, surprise, surprise. You guys know I love corally blushes. I love brownie and nudie blushes. I also really like Paradise Glow. I would say that these are my 2 favorites. These would have been the 2 that I would have picked up if I was not a YouTuber and I could only pick up 2 colors. These would be the ones that I would pick up. However, I also really like Venusian Sunrise. Like if I'm going for more of a lighter color, this would probably be the one that I picked up. It's really gorgeous. I love the way that this went onto my skin. skin. It had a beautiful ethereal kind of glow. I like the lavender tone to it. Just works really well with my skin tone, so I also love this one. I know it's kind of hard to narrow it down because these are all really pretty, but those are kind of like my favorites from this line. All right, friends, so those are all of my thoughts on these newest blush duos from Pat McGrath. Comment down below and let me know if you guys picked up any of these shades, which of these ones are working for you. If you have any of the blushes from Pat's permanent line, I would love to know how you think the formula compares. Comment down below, let me know all of your thoughts. I would love to hear what you think. If you like this video, don't forget to give me a big thumbs up. It really helps me out. It took me a really long time to swatch and compare all these blushes on my hands and on my cheeks, so I really appreciate you guys supporting me. If you haven't subscribed already, what are you waiting for? We have so much fun over here on this channel. Hit that subscribe button to subscribe so you can hear about every time I upload a new video. Also, I welcome you to follow me on Instagram. That's when I'm telling you when all of these things launch. I give you guys the coupon codes. I let you know when things go on sale, when they come back in stock. And that's also just a really great way to kind of keep up with me and what I'm up to on the reg. So definitely head on to Instagram and follow me over there. I hope that you guys are having a fantastic day, and I will see you in my next one. Goodbye.